Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Just need to make sure it's working. There we are. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So today, Sudevi is occupied in another seva, so she won't be here physically with us today. And I am going to do my best to serve all of you and Srila Gurudev and our Guru Varga. So please bear with me. We will begin with Mangalacharan, which is page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamshta, Vandeham. Forgot to plug in my Tampura. Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagano Raghunatanvitam Kansajeevam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagano Lalita Shri Vishakam Nitamshra Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo visnupada radhikaya priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasham Namami Tridattinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padamrita Hridni Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञा केशव नित्यनामिने अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानक्षपालिने जीवदुःखे सदर्ताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभारती देवी दयिताय कृपाभये कृष्ण सम्बन्ध विज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाध्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे पदाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगव्वराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः पञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्ग मम मन्दं मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्ततस्थितः कर्षण्येनुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीयेशुनः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तव्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nam Harer Nam Harer Nameva Kevalam Kalo Naskeva 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 Gatiranyatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we will start with Shri Guru Charana Padma, page 28. Shri Guru Charana Padma, page 28 in this book. And let me see, is Jiva Pavana Prabhu there? I can't tell if you, oh, Dandavat Pranam Jiva Pavana Prabhu. If you do not have the book, Jiva Pavana Prabhu always very kindly posts the bhajan in the comment thread. So just scroll down to the most recent comment and you will see the bhajan there and you can follow along with us. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma. SRIGURUCARANAPADMA, page 28. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Vando Savadhano Arna Kori Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananga Guru Varga ki jai. Page 39, Ohe Vaisnava Thakur. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Hare Bol. Ohe Vaishnava Thakuro, দয়ারো সাগর বিদাসে করুণা করি ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারো সাগর বিদাসে করুণা করি নিরাপদ ছায়া শোধো হে আমারে নিরাপদ ছায়া শোধো হে আমারে তোমার চরণ ধরি তোমার চরণ ধরি জয় বেগ তুমি জয় দোষ শোধি জয় গুণ দেবদাসে জয় বেগ তুমি জয় দোষ শোধি জয় গুণ দেবদাসে জয় সত সঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে জয় সত সঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে বসেছি সঙ্গে রয়াসে বসেছি সঙ্গে রয়াসে একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব হরিনাম সংকীর্তনে একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব হরিনাম সংকীর্তনে তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধরে ও দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধরে কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে আমি তো গঙ্গা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো গঙ্গা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ভাই তো পাছে পাছে ভাই তো পাছে পাছে ভাই তো পাছে পাছে ভাই তো পাছে পাছে ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারো সাগর বেদাসে করুণা করি বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারো সাগর বেদাসে করুণা করি বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো প্রভু Page 48, Vishaya Vasana Rupa. Visaya Vasana Rupa. Vishaya Vasana Rupa. And Srila Rupa Goswami's day is coming up very soon. In a few days, there are Rupa Goswami conferences going on around the world via the digital domain, because we can't really have them publicly or personally. So many are glorifying Sri Rupa Goswami now at this time. And this bhajan is very beautiful, glorifying Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami. Vishaya Vasana Rupam Chitera Vikaro Amara Hidoye Bhoga Oriya Nivaro Vishaya Vasana Rupam Chitera Vikaro Namo Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Sri Sanatan Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Sri Jiva Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Sri Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. So once again, if you don't have the lyrics or the bhajan book with the bhajan book with the H, the book with you, then Jiva Pavan Prabhu is very mercifully sharing the bhajans in the comment section. So the last comment in the thread, just go to that and you will see that Jiva Pavan Prabhu is posting and sharing the bhajan. So you can follow along. You may have noticed that I went from the last verse back to the first one, because a lot of times that's the thing you do. You go back to the first one as part of the flow of the bhajan. But when I was reading along with the meaning, I saw the last one. The very last one is saying, "This simple person is the most wretched among the wretched. This destitute soul begs for shelter at the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas." So with this prayer, you see that in the very end, he's really praying for shelter and feeling so much humility. And then I went back to the first verse without realizing the meaning. And it says, "My desire for sense objects is a perversion of consciousness which constantly impels my heart to want to enjoy." So I didn't want to end on that one, where I'm only ending with this perversion of consciousness and desire for enjoying, but I wanted to end with the calling out for the grace and the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So I went back to that verse. And this is quite important for us as we are moving along, hopefully progressing on the path of devotion, that we understand or try to apply some mood into everything that we do. And this was one of the great gifts of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, that he wanted us to understand the deep meaning behind every activity that we do in bhakti. For example, when it comes time for the disappearance festival of any Vaishnava, we always sing that bhajan, Jai Anilo Prema Dhana Karuna Prachur. Now, sometimes we find that some devotees may not realize what they're singing, and they'll be like, Jai Anilo Prema Dhana, like making a light thing out of it, not thinking about it. What is the mood? What is the meaning behind it? When do we chant this bhajan? Or like this. Or this other thing, sometimes devotees are like, Jaya Prabhu, pad, 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 like this. Some joke out of something very serious. So sometimes it's just ignorant, sometimes there's actually additions, something which is not in flow with the mood. And so seeing the mood of this bhajan, we should always have that prayerful mood when we are approaching these bhajans, because these are really the heart's moods of humility and prayer of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. Many, many years ago, we were in New Braj, Badger, California, New Braj, with our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And there was a very amazing classically trained singer. And he was quite famous, and he sang one bhajan, Rajajana Manasukakari. And we had sung it so many times before, but with our very simplistic Rajajana Manasukakari. And he was singing in some new rag. I don't even know what the name of the rag was. It was quite fancy and very mesmerizing and quite beautiful. And so I was watching, everyone was watching and listening, and everyone was really relishing it so much. And Gurudev looked at me and he went like this. And I knew what he meant. Can you sing it like him? And I just went like that, like I don't have that capacity. And then this devotee came to the very end of the bhajan, but somehow he accidentally or neglectfully missed the most important line, which was the line acknowledging the author. Narayana Balihari Radhe Shyam Shyam Shyam. What I heard was that our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, when our Gurudev was on parikrama with him, he recognized that our Param Gurudev, although he was from Bengal, when he would come to Brajmandal Parikrama, he knew all of the local Brajbasi kirtans, and he would relish them and sing along with them. And when our Gurudev recognized that, he decided that I will also compose one and write this and present it to my Gurudev for his pleasure, for his singing pleasure. So our Gurudev wrote this Brajajana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam 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 Shyama Shyam, and presented it to Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, who was so pleased upon seeing it that he said, give me a pen. So our Gurudev gave him a pen and he wrote Narayana Balihari. Our Param Gurudev wrote his name in it, our Gurudev's name. And that one has somehow integrated itself over many, many years, 50, 60 years into Braj culture. So many of the local Brajvasis are familiar with that bhajan. There's another slightly similar bhajan, which many people are also familiar with, which is Madhava Madana Murari Radhe Shyam 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 Shyama Shyam. So our Gurudev made a similar version with Brajajana Manasukakari Radhe. So without acknowledging the author of the bhajan, how are we going to receive the mercy of that mood in our heart? It's not just a song, it's their heart's manifestation. So we pray to them, please allow even a particle of that bhav, that mood to manifest in our hearts. And so this devotee sang that bhajan so beautifully, but at the end he forgot the name of the author. And then Gurudev just looked at me and went like that. And I was a little concerned. Then the devotee sang Yashomati Nandana Brajbaranagara. And it was so beautiful in a new rag and a new tune, and it was so sweet. And we were all quite mesmerized. And Gurudev again looked at me and he went like this, like, can you do? And I was like, I have no capacity for that. And then he came to the end of the bhajan and he forgot the name of the author, Bhakti Vinod Ashray. That Bhakti Vinod Thakur is taking shelter. Right? Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavan Pratava Bhakti Vinod Ashray. So he forgot this Bhakti Vinod Ashray. Even though he sang it so perfectly and beautifully, but then Gurudev just looked at me again and like this. It means there's no connection to what one is doing. Then how are we going to move forward on the path of bhakti? That's why Krishna says, if all you have is even just a little leaf, a flower, some fruit, or water, if that's all you have, but you offer it with bhakti, Yome bhaktya prayachati, with bhakti, then I will accept it. It doesn't matter what it is, but if we do it with mood, some little thing, Krishna will accept that. But if you have 1008 perfectly prepared preparations, meant for kings, and there's no bhakti and there's a mood against the devotee of Krishna, then Krishna will not be hungry, will not be greedy to accept that. So Krishna did not eat in the house of Duryodhana, in the palace of Duryodhana, but rather he went and accepted the bhaktya, the bhakti, which was offered by the wife of Vidura, Vidurani, in the form of banana peels, because she was completely overcome by praying for Krishna. She could not differentiate the banana or the peel. She was confused and offered that to Krishna with love and affection. He was relishing that as the most wonderful and sweet thing. So if somehow or other we can connect to the mood of the bhajan and pray and cry and call out to the person who has provided this bhajan for our benefit, please be merciful to me and allow some of that mood to enter into my heart, then we have hope of attaining something of the bhav. So now we will cry out for the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Who's calling? Decline. Sorry about that. Hare Krishna. Page 61. Nitai Gunamani Ama. Nitai Gunamani. And in this bhajan it says, Abadha Kuruna Sindhu Katya Mohan Ghare Ghare Bhule Prem Ami Arvan. That Mahaprabhu came, but previously everything was kept like a big dam holding back the water. But Nityananda Prabhu broke that dam. He broke that dam open. What happens when a dam is broken? Flood comes and floods everywhere. What was that flood? Srila Gurudev explained that Nityananda Prabhu broke that dam and the flood was prem itself. Ghare Ghare Bhule Prem Ami Aravan. It flooded everywhere. Even those who didn't want it were caught up in that flood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy by the grace and by the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Tai Guno Mani Ama Tai Guno Mani Tai Guno Mani Ama Tai Guno Mani Aniya Premero Danya Ashwarino Yavani Aniya Premero Danya Ashwarino Yavani Premere Vanya Loyanita Yaino Guru Deshe Premere Vanya Loyanita Yaino Guru Deshe Dubino Bhava Ram, Jai Nityananda Ram. Emon Shachira Nandana Bine. Page 70. E-M-O-N-A Shachira S-A-C-I-R-A Nandana Bine. Rasamahara Premo Parapiyo Shri Satyanandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai. So for those of you who are just now entering or recently entered, if you don't have a songbook, one of these Gaudiya Gita Guchas, or the app, the Gaudiya Kirtan app, which you can download, I think it's for iPhone and Android, Gaudiya Kirtan, then you can get all of these bhajans. But if you don't have those, then Jiva Pavana Prabhu, Jiva Pavana, mercifully post the bhajans in the comments on this thread. So scroll down to the final or the most recent comment, and you will find the bhajan posted there, and you can follow along. Bandhu Sange Jaditava Ranga Parihas. That is probably one of my favorite bhajans. Page 124. Bandhu Sange Jaditava Ranga Parihas. When we came in 1996 with our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja, at that time we were very, very new, and let's just say there was so much more we realized that we needed to learn. And the more we're learning, the more we realize there's so much more. So when we arrived, we went to Keshi Ghat. Keshi Ghat, just down the road there, a few hundred meters, or feet, for those who think in feet, down the road along Jamuna. And there, this is where we would go to take Achman and make our vow before Kartik. Sankalpa, what I will do, how I will observe all of the sadhana which is necessary during Kartik. I will be with the parikrama, I will pray for Radha Dasyam and Guru Nishtha and all of these things that we take vows for before entering our vrat. It's called Sankalpa. So we went there to take our Sankalpa, but first, we were there, Gurudev was sitting. See this picture? That's the picture from him at that time. So he was sitting there. And Krishnadas, he had Krishnadas Brahmachari at that time sing Bandhu Sange Jaditava Ranga Parihas. And then Gurudev began to tell us the meaning of this bhajan. And we were quite smitten just being in Gurudev's vicinity. And he was telling us, if you care anything for your attachments in this world, for your friends and your relatives, and all of those deep affections, all of those deepest attachments that you have in this world, if you care for them, whatever you do, do not come to Vrindavan. And we were just laughing. Oh, Gurudev is so sweet, Gurudev is so cute. And so we were laughing, and he was also laughing. And then he said, and if by some great misfortune you happen to come to Vrindavan, whatever you do, do not come here to Keshi Ghat. And we were laughing even more, and he was laughing more. And he said, and if you have the great misfortune of coming to Keshi Ghat, whatever you do, do not look upon the face of Govinda, of Govindaji. Your life will be ruined, it will be spoiled. It will be ruined forever. And that was the next place he was going to take us, to see Govindaji. He said, whatever you do, don't come here. And he said, oh, one more thing. If you see any sadhu with Bhagavatam under their arm, wearing saffron cloth, be careful. He said, they will cheat you for everything. What kind of cheating? He said, everything. You will lose everything. And he said, and when that time comes, don't blame me. I've warned you. And we were laughing, thinking, oh, he's so sweet, he's so wonderful and gentle and everything. And he was laughing more than we were. And I thought he was laughing with us. But I think now he was laughing at us. That you don't realize what you've done. You've come here to the Dham, to Vrindavan, under the guidance of Vaishnavas. You've come to Keshi Ghat, and now you're going to look upon the face of Govindaji. You are there under the guidance of sadhu with Bhagavatam under his arm, meaning he will be presenting Srimad Bhagavatam. Your everything, all of your material attachments, all of your material desires, everything that you thought was valuable in terms of your bindings in this world, this will be cut. And at that time, when it does happen, don't blame me. So this bhajan, Bandhu Sange Jarita Varanga Parihas, previously it used to say by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Now in this version it says by an unknown Vaisnava author. But anyhow, it is completely in line with the beautiful prayer that is written in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is actually composed by Srila Rupa Goswami. Smeram Hangi Traya Parichitam Shachi Vishtena Drishtim Vangsi Nastalaya Kishadayan Ujvalam Chandrakena Govindakyam Haritanumita Keshitepto Pakante Ma Prekshishtai Stavya Disake Bandhu Sange Stilanga. Oh my dear friend, actually the gopis are telling each other, if you want to maintain your worldly attachments, don't go there. Don't come to Vrindavan, don't go to Keshigat, and don't look upon the face of Govinda, who is standing in such a beautiful threefold bending form, playing on his flute. His nails are brilliantly lighting up his face, and he's looking so beautiful in the moonlight. His lips are soft like fresh, new, twirled leaves. He will charm you, and your heart will be completely stolen. You will lose all attraction for anything else in this world. So don't go, don't go. This is the first case I know of reverse psychology, where actually the gopis are telling each other, whatever you do, go, go, go. You must. So they're saying it, don't do it. This is my greatest fear, my greatest fear. But really, it is a signal. All of our Guru Varga, Rupananga Guru Varga are begging us, you should come here. But then they're saying, don't come, don't come. This only should increase our eagerness that yes, I will run to see the beautiful, charming face of Govinda. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahita. Page 341. Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Gauri Guruvarga ki jai, Srila Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari. Guruvade Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanathmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girin Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Prabhishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Darshata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. and the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, astottara Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam. So today, class is starting a little late because we actually did a little bit of class in between the bhajans, speaking about Bandhu Sange Jarita Varanga Parihas and entering into the mood of the bhajans. So about 10 or 15 minutes was taken up by that, which is fine. So now we will continue with going beyond Vaikuntha. This is the Bhav Anuvad, the commentaries full of divine mood and full of ras from our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja, on the great work, I don't want to call it a work, the great revelation of the heart of Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So we will first pray to the commentator and the original compiler for their mercy and blessings with the prayer of Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnat Apayanam Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripamgudirya Padadukuduki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami, begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest within our hearts. Did I see Lalit Kishori there? Lucky? Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. I haven't seen him in a long time. Happy to see him there. Okay. Just so you know, before I start reading, many years ago, when Srila Gurudev first ordered us to travel and preach his mission, I told you the other day we were at Govardhan on the lawn in front of the Modi main hall. So Modi Bhavan, just across from that place where Srila Gurudev used to take us, which is said to be the entrance of Govardhan, where he would offer all of us to Giriraj. So in that place, just on the lawn in front, in, what year was it, 1999, Kartik, when Gurudev gave us that order, I want that you three should make a team and travel and preach my mission everywhere. So it was the end of Kartik, and we were quite a little bit surprised, like, oh my God, we better start preparing. Sudevi and I, we felt like we don't know anything, and apparently we didn't, and we still don't, and Gurudev said that. So, anyhow, it's in the morning walks book. He said, look, Sudevi and Kishori Mohan, they're traveling and preaching everywhere, and they don't know anything. So, I find this to be a very nice, affectionate, you can call it a slap, but also acknowledgement of Guru, that one should always remain like a fool in front of their Guru. One time Gurudev said something in front of Sudevi and myself, and Sudevi said, Gurudev, we don't know anything. All we do is speak about you. And he said, oh, that's why. Like that. So we were there. It was after Kartik, and we were studying. We were reading Gurudev's books, thinking, oh my gosh, we have to study. And so then we went to see Gurudev in Mathura, and Kartik had already finished. It was about a week after Kartik. And we went to see him there, but we had our books with us. And he said, what are you still doing here? And we said, well, we're studying Gurudev so that we can follow your instruction. He said, what you know now, go and preach. What you know now. Not something that you have to try to cram inside, memorize a bunch of things to impress anyone, but what has processed inside. Then you share that. And we see this also with Vyasadeva and Ganesh. Vyasadeva told Ganesh, only write down what you understand. And you see that what our Guru Varga have given, it is the realized or processed understanding, the knowledge that has been given to each personality. So when Gurudev said, what you know now, go and preach, that was something very interesting for us. That he didn't want us to just be studying to prepare to impress. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada also did not like this. When he discovered that some of his students were being trained how to preach, trained, like you can teach someone how to sing a song, so then you can train them where the punchlines are, how to preach as well. And we see that here in India a lot, where people learn the punchlines. And also in certain places in Bengal, I've also seen some devotees do this, where they will sing a bhajan like Gauranga Bolite Habe. Gauranga Bolite Habe, Pula Kashirir, Hari Hari Bolite Kabir, Hari Hari Bolite Nayane Babe Nir. Nayane Babe Nir means crying, weeping from the eyes. Nayane Babe Nir. So they would say, Gauranga Bolite Habe, Pula Kashirir, Hari Hari Bolite Nayane. And start doing this fake crying thing. And then everyone in the audience starts crying. Our Guru Varga hate this. That whole fake thing, the pretension thing. They hate it. Because where is there any place for bhakti to manifest if you're faking something, to present something? So they didn't like all of that falsity and the fake stuff. So our Gurudev told us, what you know now, go and preach. And by following the order of Guru, when one makes that endeavor, then more starts to manifest naturally. As you're reading, more inspiration comes in the heart. Shamrani Didi once said, I only started with one class. I had one class, and that class just kept expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding as I was endeavoring to serve Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev and Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj. That class is expanding more and more and more, so that there's not enough room in 1 hour to speak all of it, because they're giving more and more inspiration. It's not that we shouldn't read, but not for the purpose, where you can see someone practicing the punchline. Okay, at this point, I'm going to prepare something, and I'm going to say something so profound that everyone's hats are going to be blown off. This is not the way that any Vaisnava should approach these topics, these scriptures, or kirtan. All of it is seva. Seva first to Guru, and through Guru to Gauranga, Radha, and Krishna. So instead of doing something to impress or something to show off, then we should be doing something in a mood of humility, which is something that we should all be praying for, that may I attain that humility, where I'm actually understanding that I'm so wretched and I require mercy at every step. So Srila Gurudev said, what you know now, go and preach. And a few years later, it was time for me and Sudevi and myself to go on our own. We were in Badger, New Braj. And Srila Gurudev told us, so, you should go on your own. And we were like, but maybe we can travel with any other sannyasi or any other preacher and we can do the kirtan for them. And Gurudev said, why should I cut my preaching in half? If you are there and they are there in the same place, then others will be missing out. Why should I cut it in half? So no, I want you two to go here, and others, they can go anywhere else. So he was, in essence, throwing us into the deep end and saying, swim, it's time to swim. And then we were looking a little bit distraught and confused, and he said, there were so many things he said at that time, but the thing I wanted to come to is he said, after some time, after a couple of weeks, it'll be easy. He said, just read a little, speak a little. Read a little, speak a little. It'll be easy, like that. So he gave the instruction how we should do it. And I find that it's quite beautiful, because then you have the subject and you're able to remember the teachings of Gurudev, the teachings of our Guru Varga, what we have heard and what we have learned from them. And then we have our crutch, so then we can go back to that point and continue from there. So the reason I do it this way is because Srila Gurudev instructed it that way. He said after a couple of weeks it will be so easy. It was a little more like a couple of years it became a little easier, but still, this was the instruction he gave to us, so that is why I do it in this format. So I just wanted to give you that. And I know it's not just for me. It's not just for us. The devotee who was traveling with us previously, what did Gurudev tell? He said, everything I've given you is not just for you. It is for everyone. I can't go to everyone individually. I cannot go to everyone individually. So what I've given you, you should share with others. You should also share and teach them what I've given you. Means to me and Sudevi. So Gurudev wants this of all of his disciples. What we have received, we can process something of that and share that with others. And then we will be doing some kind of service to the Vani, the teachings of our Gurudev, of our Guru Varga, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I was just mentioned too that there is a question, how to balance between service to Guru and our personal sadhana. Which one should we give priority to? Our personal sadhana is service to Sri Guru. But sometimes it may be that Guru will circumvent that and give an order. So what is more important than our personal sadhana is the order of Sri Guru. Also, there's rules and restrictions in Shastra that if you are in front of the deity, you should not pay obeisance to anyone else. Not in front of the deity. That's why when you do Vanchakalpatarubhyascha to the Vaishnavas, they close the doors or the curtains. And then you do your pranam to all of the Vaishnavas. However, that is not the rule for Sri Guru. So there should be an understanding of scripture. Niyama agraha. There's two meanings of this niyama agraha. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha. Niyama means rules and regulations. And agraha means adherence to. So there's niyama agraha. There's over adherence and under adherence. Niyama agraha, niyama agraha. The conjugation of the two Sanskrit words, niyama plus agraha, can be niyamagraha. So both have the same word, niyamagraha, but agraha and agraha still become agraha in the conjugation. I hope that's not too complicated. A plus a is a, and a plus a is a. So it's kind of like in English when you have the word to, meaning the number two, the word to meaning going to something, the word to meaning also. It all has the same sound, but it has different meanings. So in the same way, niyamagraha has two opposite meanings. Over adherence or under adherence to rules and regulations of scriptures. If we do not acknowledge Sri Guru when we are serving Krishna, and we don't acknowledge Guru, then this can be aparad. So we have to also be careful for that. So what is our personal sadhana? On my own, I have no strength. I cannot acquire the transcendental by my own power. Why do we do sadhana? Srila Gurudev Maharaj explains, we do sadhana because Guru tells us to do it. And when he sees that we are sincere, that we are willing to follow the principles which he has set out, then he will give us inspiration in bhakti, installments of inspiration. Meaning our bhakti will increase, it will grow. Like putting nutrients on any creeper that is growing. They'll give us some fertilizer, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. You will grow, you should grow and grow. And bind yourself firmly to the lotus feet of Krishna. When they see that we are sincere and we are willing to follow the prescription that they are giving us. So our sadhana is the prescription of Sri Guru. Once upon a time, there was a devotee who wanted to do his sadhana, but he was not following the prescription of Guru. So his attachment was to chanting 64 rounds a day. But he was not doing it under the guidance of or in the consultation with his Gurudev. That is our Gurudev. And because of this, Gurudev was not pleased or satisfied. He wanted him to spend more time in a different seva. What is the purpose of Harinam? Chanting. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. So this service required more time, less time in the physical aspect of chanting the names, and more time engaging in the result of chanting the names, which was the seva of translating the books. So 3 times, Gurudev discovered that he was not following the instruction. And finally, Gurudev offered him a gift. How would you like it if I gave you a bhajan kutir at Radha Kund? And there you could chant 3 lakhs of Harinam every day. This devotee said, luckily I asked a question. What would be my benefit? And Gurudev just said 0. So chanting lakhs and lakhs of Harinam but disobeying the order of Guru, what is the result? Nam aparad. To disobey the order of the spiritual master is Nam aparad. And what is the result of Nam aparad? Even chanting lakhs of Harinam. 1 lakh means 64 rounds. 2 lakhs is 128 rounds. 3 lakhs is 192 rounds. Haridas Thakur chanted 3 lakhs every day. So, what is the result of disobeying the order of the spiritual master, but still chanting so much Harinam? The result is the result of Nam Aparad. And what is the result of Nam Aparad? The increase of Kanaka, the desire for material wealth, the increase of Kamini, the desire for material sense gratification, through the medium of all of the senses, including lust, and Pratishtha, the increase of name, fame, position, power, control, all of these things, if we are disobeying the order of the spiritual master. So according to your question, which one should we give priority to? Service to Guru or our personal sadhana? We should understand that our personal sadhana is directed according to what Guru sees we need. So our sadhana is our service to Guru. And when Guru tells us to chant, how to do this thing, how to do that, how we should engage in the activities of bhakti and the activities of bhajan, then this is our sadhana. One must always be under guidance. That's why the first step of bhakti is ado, first of all, Guru Parasha. I surrender to the lotus feet of Guru. That means Guru is my master. So I do what my master orders. The instruction or the order of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciple. What is my sadhana on my own? Ekakiya mag nahi pai bal hari naam sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu deho Krishna namadane. On my own I have no strength. Jogyata vichari kichu nahi pai. I have no good intelligence. Please give me one drop of faith. Give me your mercy. I can't even chant Harinam without your mercy. So for praying, really the essence of all of the foundation of all of our activities on the path of bhakti is this surrender and submittance at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And from this, it can be said that we are doing sadhana. If we are not under the guidance of Guru, then we are doing something more according to our own whims. And it might help to give some strength. It's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily good either. One should always be under the guidance of the pure devotee. At every moment, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada says, otherwise the jewels that we've already received in hand, even that can be lost. And if we don't have the opportunity or capacity at this time for direct personal association of any Vaishnava, then we can take shelter of Shastriya Sadhu Sangha, the instructions that they've given in their books, in their Harikatha, and continue endeavoring. And if the opportunity for high-class Vaishnava association, Sadhu Sangha, presents itself in our life, then we should run there and drink that mercy. The mercy which is emanating from their lotus mouth in the form of Harikatha. Jaha Bhagavatapara Vaishnavirasthani. If we really want to understand Shastra, if we want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, we must do so at the feet of the Vaishnava. But Srila Gurudev didn't tell us that we always have to sit directly in his physical association. He would read to us Mana Shiksha in 2 or 3 days. Now you can go home and you can read it because I've given you the proper mood, how to enter. And you should open that book and reveal all of those treasures within it in your own personal bhajan space. So some time is there physically and other time is there privately. And this is our own personal calling out. It does not mean that we are not in the presence of Guru at that time. We can pray to Sri Guru in the heart at that time. Call for their mercy, as we do before entering into this book, that may even a particle of your moods enter into our hearts. What is present here? And pray to them as personalities, that this is not just a book, this is the manifestation of the heart of those divine transcendental personalities. So this question is extremely important, but always priority is given not to what I think is best, but what Gurudev thinks is best. One devotee said to our Srila Gurudev, Gurudev, I've been reading and my understanding is And Gurudev stopped her. Boom. You should not take your own understanding. Your own understanding is not, it won't bring you to perfection. You should always take the understanding of your Gurudev and your Guru Varga. What they understand, you should accept. These days, there's a trend of jumping over the head of Guru to try to understand even my Param Guru or maybe 20 up the line. Oh yes, I will understand them by my own strength, but not through the medium of Parampara. But this is not the prescription given by all of our Guru Sadhu Shastra or by Krishna himself. Krishna himself says, Evam parampara praptam idam rajashayo vidu sakale nehe mahata yogo nashta parantapa. That this is how divine knowledge descends, through parampara. Means how we receive it is the digested understanding of, I'm using the word digested because it has been transmitted into their hearts. They have understood and realized, and now they are presenting what they have understood and realized. And what we receive from them is their realization of not only their Gurudev, but all previous acharyas combined. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he explains this point, that the current acharya is the refinement of the sum total of all of the conceptions of all previous acharyas before them. How powerful is that? It's like focusing a laser. That means the most recent acharya is the most powerful refinement, the condensation, the compressed refinement of all of our acharyas' commentaries before them. So, the most priority should be given to the order, to the service of Sri Guru. And service of Guru is not about what I think that is. It is according to the instruction of Guru. What Sri Guru has expressed, and this will be service to Guru. Not that I will disobey the order of Guru and think I can assume. One time, it was 11 times in 3 days. Srila Gurudev wanted to send us to Los Angeles to manage the temple there at that time. And the devotees had requested for us to go there. So we were in a state of extreme, desperate praying and begging. And we were aware that Gurudev was going to send us. He didn't ask us. He knew that he could just send us there. So he didn't ask us. He just told us, I want you to go to Los Angeles. And so we were ready to go. But then we had a couple conditions, which were for good reason. So we approached Gurudev with these conditions. And Gurudev, he acknowledged them, he accepted them, he consented to them. And then after that time, the devotees who were present did change their mind. So a meeting came in front of Gurudev. And then Gurudev told us, at that point, better you should continue traveling the world and preaching. Because the devotees said, he said to them, just bring them there, everything will be done. And they said, Gurudev, we're not convinced. And he said, just do it, everything will be done. Gurudev, we're not convinced. He said, okay then, you should continue traveling the world and preaching more and more. 11 times in 3 days, he was saying it like this, very boldly and strongly, even from a distance, you should travel and preach more and more. So one devotee from the meeting came up to us and he said, you know what Gurudev really wants. He said, you're just not following his order. You just want to do what you want to do. But really what he wants is that you will go there and you will do this. Or you will go to this other place and do this. And I said, I'm not at that level where I can second guess what my Gurudev is ordering. 11 times in 3 days he's told me this. So what can I do? This is what he's ordered. And I was perfectly willing, completely willing to do whatever he was telling us to do. But at this time, he gave us this order. I said, I'm not at that level where I can second guess. And he said, that's just because you're not surrendered enough. It may be so. But the order of Guru should be the life and soul of the disciple. So I was just sharing that with you. So now, we will enter into this book. Thank you for asking that question. It helped me to remember so many beautiful interactions with our Gurudev, where he was giving so much mercy to us. So it's very heart-opening question. So now we're going to go into the heart of Gurudev. as he's remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna. So yesterday, we were hearing about how Mother Yashoda was trying to bind Krishna. And although she struggled so intensely, with so much desperation, she bound all of the ropes together in all of Gokul and tried to bind her son. But still, there was a gap, 2 fingers gap between the 2 ends of the rope, and she could not bind him. Does anyone remember what these 2 fingers represent? I'm looking for the Sanskrit and the English. First one to post it wins a prize. What these 2 fingers represent. We can speak on that subject more, Balabhadra, after some time. Or maybe I should just address it right now. There's a lot of times we hear that lately. People say, I know Gurudev said that 1,000 times, but what he really meant was this. Srila Gurudev said, if Gurudev is giving instruction and giving an order, and everything that he says is up for question, then what is the meaning of taking guidance? If you find that quote, you can repost it. Just look under, maybe in Gurudev's database. Where is the taking of guidance? He was saying this is ridiculous. That Gurudev is there year after year, day after day, pounding these ideas into us. Accept what I am telling you. That is the function of Guru. Tasmad gurum prapatyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam shabde pare chanishnatam. To remove all of our doubts through the medium of Shastra. So why would he tell me something 1,000 times if what he really meant was not that, or the opposite of that? So it could be an extremely rare occasion that maybe he said something once or twice with a different meaning. But not when he's preaching it from the Vyasasana. When he's there preaching, he might say something like, oh, you are the best at something. And then that person would go, Gurudev said I'm the best. Well, maybe he didn't really mean that. Maybe it was a chastisement. That could be a chastisement. Oh, you are the best. You are wonderful. You are great. And the disciple goes, yes, I'm the best. I'm wonderful. I'm great. No. This can be a chastisement from Gurudev. But when Gurudev is preaching on a conception that his Gurudev and his Param Gurudev and all of his Guru Varga, all of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada have preached and presented with all evidence from Shastra, what he really meant was the opposite. No, this is an absolutely ludicrous idea. And don't let anyone convince you of that opposite thing. Then you will doubt the words of your Gurudev. Then everything is up for question. Then what is the meaning of taking guidance? It is completely nonsense. Oh, well, you can't understand your Gurudev because only a Mahabhagavat can understand what your Gurudev is saying. Then why do we sit in front of our Gurudev and hear Harikatha? And if only another Uttam Mahabhagavat can understand him, then how can we understand that other Uttam Mahabhagavat? That's also impossible. So that we are forever bereft. Then why did we accept our Guru in the first place if we shouldn't listen to what he says? And why does he talk to us anyway if we can't understand him? The whole idea is absolutely absurd. Yes, one can know or understand truly a Mahabhagavat if they are Mahabhagavat, but Guru takes a role in our lives and speaks to us so that we can have something to understand. Why would he talk to us if we are completely forever bereft of the opportunity to understand anything he says? That idea needs to be qualified. Imagine telling Gurudev that. Well, Gurudev, according to Shastra, I can't understand you anyway, so I'm not going to listen to your Harikatha. That's where we should bring it to. That's the reality. And imagine his reaction to that nonsense. Like that time I told you, somebody said if you didn't have a fire yajna, then you were not really initiated by Gurudev. So Sudevi didn't have a fire yajna. So she ran to Gurudev and she was really upset. Although one of the first things Gurudev told her is that real initiation happens when Gurudev first glances at his disciple. Everything else is just a formality. Anyhow, who was giving the class at the time, they were convincing everyone, if you did not have a fire yajna, you're not really initiated. You're not really a disciple. So Sudevi ran to Gurudev's room and badger, Gurudev, I just heard that if I didn't have a fire yajna, I'm not really your disciple. I didn't have a fire yajna. Gurudev was, she said he was like visibly disturbed. What? Okay. Then you should go and sit in front of a fire. Then you will be my disciple. It was like a dismissive remark. Really? Oh, he said, you think you're not my disciple? Okay, then you should go sit in front of a fire. Then you will be my disciple. So these kinds of things we should take with a massive, massive chunk of salt. Like a boatload of salt. Like what came in front of Madan Mohan temple. That whole boatload of salt. Why are these things being said? This is actually an underhanded endeavor to break someone's faith in the ability of Guru to speak to the Jiva, to the Jivatma. Oh, you should doubt what your Guru is saying because you can't understand it anyway, but you should accept what I am saying. Now, someone actually tried to convince me like that once. Oh yeah, Gurudev made a mistake this way, Prabhupada made a mistake that way, Srila Gurudeva Maharaj made a mistake that way, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj made a mistake this way, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati made a mistake that way. In the future, if you have any questions like this, why don't you just ask me? That's exactly what he said. So, trying to convince me that they're all subject to the 4 defects, but I can go to him and ask him for clarification. This is nonsense. So we should take it with a big, big boatload of salt. Yes, Gurudev can speak to me. Gurudev is the medium by which Krishna is speaking to me, and by which Krishna is confirming what is also moving in my heart. Paramatma is also speaking, but I cannot differentiate between all of the other voices in my head and my heart, mind, intelligence, false ego, Paramatma, so many different things going on, so many different thoughts. Who is speaking to me? Sri Guru is the external manifestation of Paramatma, confirming or denying what thoughts I'm having inside. And Guru is Srila Gurudeva Maharaj explained, everything Krishna wants to tell you, he tells you through the mouth of Sri Guru. And everything you want to tell Krishna also goes through that same medium. That's why our Srila Prabhupada said, Guru is the transparent vaya medium. The medium, via, or through which the jiva is connecting to Krishna and Krishna is connecting to the jiva. So we should not doubt that Gurudev can communicate with us what he wants us to understand. The idea that we can never understand him, so therefore we don't need to listen to him. This is ridiculous. Some people actually took this role. And the result will be that one will be deviated from Nishta in Guru, and they will have some other concept which might appear like Gurudev, their Gurudev, but it is not. So thank you for that mention. But what he really meant was this other thing. Yeah, we've seen that too much. This is not the mood of a disciple. So if you can find that quote, I would really appreciate it if you can post it, what Gurudev said, then what is the meaning of the taking guidance? You can put that in quotes in Gurudev's database. What is the meaning of taking guidance if you're not following what Gurudev is saying? So now, as you can tell, these subjects get me quite heated because I've been actually dealing with a lot of this over many, many years. People trying to convince me that although Gurudev said it 100 times, that's not what he really meant, because when he would say it, he would wink at us and imply that actually he meant something else. Right? Let me tell thousands of people the wrong thing, and I'll just wink at the couple who actually understand the truth. I'll wink at them, and then they can reveal it at another time. No. Gurudev is not here to cheat me. He's here to remove all of my doubts. That is his function through the medium of Shastra, and to increase my faith in the process of bhakti, and to increase my attraction to serving Sri Radha and Krishna. Sometimes, of course, we know that Gurudev, just like Krishna, will manifest mugdata. Mugdata means some kind of forgetfulness. Gurudev was, what is your name again? And that disciple might go, oh my God, he doesn't know my name. This is some kind of mugdata. So sometimes he understands and sometimes doesn't, but it doesn't mean he is subject to making mistakes like we are in this world. One should understand that Gurudev is not like an ordinary mortal of this world. Not Sri Guru is not. Maybe any other kind of Guru might be. But real Guru, Sri Guru, is not. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, the greatest aparad to Harinam is to consider Sri Guru to be like an ordinary mortal. If one has this vision of Guru, they can never approach Harinam properly. And our Gurudev has told the other side, Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. If you see that Gurudev is an ordinary mortal like myself, then we will see in Gurudev that Gurudev has the tendency of the four defects, Brahm, Pramara, Karanapatava, Vipralipsa, means illusion, making mistakes, imperfect senses, the tendency to cheat others. Then how can we really truly surrender unto them and believe with full conviction that that person who we think is bound like ourselves can unbind us? There's no real meaning to that surrender, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada says. So we must have this firm faith and conviction that he is not an ordinary mortal like myself. Nikunja yunorati keli siddhyai. He's serving Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. He is descending out of sweet mercy. He is the form of the mercy of Krishna manifesting in my life, descending to give that mercy to me. Shri Krishna Kripa Shri Murti, the embodiment of the mercy of Radha and Krishna. This is Shri Guru. We should have that firm conviction. 1 second. Oh. I just have to make sure the battery is low on that, so I'm going to enter here. Sudevi. 1 second. Okay. Did you change your profile picture, Sudevi? Oh. There you are. Oops, wrong day. There we are. Okay. Just so I don't lose what's going on here. Okay, so we do have a few minutes I can read. Please forgive me for not reading enough. So by Krishna's Swarup Shakti, or Yogamaya potency, his internal potency, which has its highest extent embodied in the form of Srimati Radhika, the impossible becomes possible. That is known as Aghatana Pratiyasi Shakti. The power to make the impossible possible. So all the ropes in Gokul were being used, but they could not bind the waist of Krishna. What determines whether Yogamaya gives her mercy or her darshan of Bhagavan to someone or not? If she is pleased, then someone can receive his darshan. If not, then they will not. So the question was asked yesterday, how to please Yogamaya? This also must take place under the guidance of Sri Guru. So Gurudev was explaining that all Shaktis are manifestations of the original Shakti. The original Shakti or potency of Krishna, this is known as Swarup Shakti, but actually is embodied in the form of Srimati Radhika. Radha Purna Shakti, Krishna Purna Shaktiman, Duivastu Bhedanai Shastra Paraman. She is the complete Shakti from whom all other Shaktis manifest. Therefore, Bhaktivedanta Thakur writes, Uma, Rama, Shatya, Shachi, Chandra, Rukmini, Radha, Avatar, Save, Amnayavani, according to all revealed scriptures, all of these Shaktis and the manifestations of those Shaktis are ultimately manifestations from the original Shakti, who is Srimati Radhika herself. And yesterday we ended with what Srila Prabhupada and our Gurudev both told, and I know it's also told in other places, but that all Shaktis are manifestations from the original Shakti, and because within the original Shakti, which is in the highest ras, all other rasas are manifested to their fullest extent, including Vatsalya ras, Sakya ras, and everything else, Mother Yashoda, Srila Gurudev said, is the embodiment of Srimati Radhika's Vatsalya Prem for Krishna. So we should understand this point, that Radhika is of Krishna. All manifestations of Radhika, which are from her, are originally from Krishna, but they're coming from the Shakti side. And Mother Yashoda means all devotion to Krishna. This is the property of Srimati Radhika. So Mother Yashoda is the embodiment of the Vatsalya Prem that is present within Srimati Radhika. This is quite amazing, isn't it? So within the gopis, within those who are in Madhurya Ras, they can nourish every other rasa, because all of it is present within them. Even our Gurudev was able to nourish the rasa, or the relationship that his disciple had with Sri Ram, because that also is present within it. So Srila Gurudev was talking about, in this material world, there is Chanchal Lakshmi. Chanchal means like flickering. Why is she called that? Because today wealth is with one person and tomorrow it will be with another. So she's moving this way and that way. She doesn't stick to one husband, and she is always wandering in the four directions. Today here, tomorrow there, and so on. So Lakshmi has come in the form of money. Who is she? She is not the original Lakshmi, but the shadow Shakti of the steady Lakshmi. So shadow means like Chaya. Who was Ravan able to kidnap? Shadow Sita, not the real Sita. He could never touch the original consort of the Lord. It's impossible for that to take place. Ravan could not touch the original Sita, so he was able to take Chaya Sita, the shadow. The steady Lakshmi. Bhu, Shri, and Nila are steady Lakshmis. Durga is also a shadow Shakti. Vindhyavasani, Kankali, Chamunda, and so on. They are all shadow Shaktis of the steady Lakshmi. So at the time of Sri Ram's pastimes, within Lanka there was Lankini, and she was also a shadow Shakti of the steady Lakshmi. So this is, she has another name as well, I can't remember it. Vedavati, I think. She was a shadow Shakti of the steady Lakshmi. Oh, when Hanuman came and attacked, she became perturbed and ran away, thinking, very soon he will destroy Ravan. This monkey has certainly come to defeat us. In this world, Lakshmi is very restless, never remaining in one place. Some people who have abundant wealth think that they will turn it all over to their offspring, but there is no guarantee that it will stay within their family. But that Lakshmi, who is in the form of Bhakti Devi, resides with Bhagavan, who is residing with Bhagavan, is steady. Wherever this Lakshmi is, she is steady. If she is residing in a place where someone offends her, then she may leave. Otherwise, she will stay. But bhakti doesn't come quickly. It is very difficult to obtain. Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada explained that in this world, so many, they are like Ravana. They want to use Lakshmi in their own service. So Ravana wanted to kidnap Sita from Ram. Sita is the eternal consort of Sri Ram, his own potency. But Ravan wanted to take her and use her for his own enjoyment. In the same way, those who take money, which is also referred to as Lakshmi, and don't use it in the service of Krishna, but rather try to use it in their own service, for their own sense gratification and own material enjoyment, then Prabhupada compared it to Ravana mentality. That I want to use this Lakshmi in my material enjoyment instead of in the service of Krishna. He said if you utilize Lakshmi in the service of Krishna, there will always be abundance of Lakshmi. But if you try to use Lakshmi in your own seva, you will lose everything, as Ravana lost everything. So this is something to consider. So Gurudeva is saying that bhakti does not come quickly. It is very difficult to obtain. Now, Gurudeva has also said if bhakti is the birthright of every jiva, then why is it so difficult to obtain? It's all of our birthright. Jiver Surupahoy, Krishner Nityadas. Every jiva is inherently an eternal servant of Krishna. So if bhakti is the birthright of every jiva, then why is it so difficult to obtain? Gurudev explained, because we don't want it. That's hard to believe. We say it, we speak it. I want bhakti, please give me bhakti. But our hands are full with all of our attachments, all of our anarthas. And Bhakti Devi is coming. Okay, I'm here. Open your hands to receive, but our hands are full of everything else. So there's nowhere to receive her. Like Srila Gurudev said, my mercy is flowing like the Yamuna or the Ganga. And I see that so many of my disciples are on the banks dying of thirst. Why? Because they won't drink. So bhakti is so rare because we don't want it. Not because it's not available for us. Bhakti Bhagirati. It's like a massive flow like the Ganga. Readily available for everyone to drink. As Srila Gurudeva Maharaj said, why are you digging a little bit here and a little bit there? The Ganga is here! The Ganga is here! You can drink as much as you want. But we're saying, oh, maybe I'll take some from... No, I'll take some from here. Digging so many wells, but never digging deep. If we want bhakti, if we really want bhakti, then we can have bhakti. How can we get that? By the association of the pure devotees who are the bhaktas. Then bhakti will awaken in our hearts. Just as fire from wood will awaken fire in another piece of wood, even if we're full of water. Eventually, that water will dry out, all of the anarthas will disappear, and we will ignite like them, burning with love and affection for Radha and Krishna in their service. So bhakti doesn't come quickly, it is very difficult to obtain. Therefore, such superior potency, parashakti, of Bhagavan, cannot be understood by argument, but by the mood of service. So by argument, even by deliberating over subjects of bhakti for thousands of years, one cannot understand bhakti. I believe the verse there is Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya. That by one's intelligence they cannot understand these. But through the process of seva, through service, then the heart will be softened and bhakti will be able to manifest or awaken in our hearts. Why? Especially when you're serving any Vaisnava, any pure Vaisnava. What happens when you are doing seva? How do you express seva? Dadati pratigunati guhyamakyati prichiti bhumte bhojayate cha eva, and so forth. Shadvidham pritilakshanam. Through the 6 symptoms of loving affection, one will develop, through these 6 activities, one will develop loving affection for the devotees of the Lord. And when that loving affection manifests, the heart will be soft, and one will be able to receive Bhakti Devi in that heart. By their association, the heart will be purified, cleaned, and made into a beautiful place so that Bhakti Devi can reside there. By their association. So this dadati pratigunati guhyamakyati prichiti. This means giving and receiving. Sometimes it's said giving gifts. But really what is it? It's giving my heart and receiving what in return? Their heart, which is Krishna. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy. The Guru makes Krishna appear in your heart. So this is dadati pratigunati, guhyamakyati prichati, revealing one's mind and heart in confidence. It means don't share one's bhajan everywhere, but to that person who is your master, your Prabhu, your life and soul. Reveal that. I've had this realization, I have this doubt, please help me. Revealing one's mind and heart in confidence, and receiving transcendental, confidential instructions in return. And bhukte bhojayate. Bhukte means serving them. In this case, you can say prasadam. Bhukte. And bhojayate means and receiving the remnants of their prasadam. Prasadam literally means mercy. So their mercy in the form of Mahaprasad, which is one of the most powerful substances. Bhakta paraduli ar bhakta parajal bhakta bhukta avashesh. Teen Mahabala, Mahaprabhu says, these substances are extremely powerful. This last one, bhakta bhukta avashesh. As Narada Muni in his previous life, as a Sutaputra, the son of a Shudrani, he had served the Bhaktivedantas, the four Kumaras, and just once by their permission, this young boy, but once by their permission, received the remnants of their Mahaprasad. And by this, he was able to understand all of the transcendental subject matter. Very soon, his mother was bitten by a snake and passed away from this world. And by their mercy and by the grace of that Mahaprasad, by permission, once, he went to the forest crying for Krishna. And within 6 months, he had a momentary darshan of Srimad Narayan. How powerful was that Mahaprasad and that Harikatha? So, bhukte bhojayate cha eva means and so forth. Shadvidham kritilakshanam. This is service. By following the instruction of Sri Guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So this pariprashnena is also mentioned. It's another version of guhyamakyati prichati. Asking relevant questions. How to progress on the path of bhakti. But I don't understand. Can you please reconcile this for me? I would like to progress. Please be merciful and reveal this to me so that I can progress without these doubts. Please remove my doubts, Gurudev, O Vaishnavas. So the first step is trust. Pranipatena. I don't know. I'm lost on my own. I'm taking shelter of you. Please help me. Second step, now that I've taken shelter of you, you've asked me, you told me that I should walk on the path of bhakti to perfection. But I've come across a stumbling block. Which way should I go? What should I do? Please help me. And then the last one that is mentioned is sevaya. Sevaya means to serve. So, what is real service? So real service is not just washing the clothes. This is also service. Or cooking for Gurudev. Or cleaning the floor for Gurudev. But real service is actually doing that thing which is really pleasing to the heart of Gurudev. Mano bhishta seva. Vishrambena guru seva. Oh, I'm so lucky I get to wash Gurudev's clothes. Yes. But this is not necessarily the most pleasing thing. So I will end with one quick story today because it's getting late. Oh. Let's see. Yes. So, once upon a time, we were in Singapore with our Srila Gurudev. And I believe it was Lalit Mohan and myself. We were massaging Gurudev. This was on the 17th floor of a high-rise building, Mr. Gupta's apartment. And we were massaging Srila Gurudev. And at that time, it was Ashram Maharaj. At that time, I think he was still Govinda Bhagat Prabhu, came in to the room. And Lalit Mohan and I were just about to finish Gurudev's massage. So we massaged him everywhere. And finally, we were just finishing, a little bit on his arms and hands. And Govinda Bhagat Prabhu came in. And he was like, can I do anything? And we're like, yeah, sure. He's like, oh, what can I do? And we're like, well, you can massage Gurudev's feet. We had already finished, but we said, he was so excited, I can massage Gurudev's feet. But we knew that his hands were always cold. And the Gurudev was quite sensitive to temperature changes. So we told him, you have to rub your hands together for a long time, make sure the oil is warm, and then you can do it. So for a long time, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, he's just rubbing his hands together with the oil. And finally, he goes to Gurudev's feet, and he puts his hands on Gurudev's ankles. Gurudev, he like his eyes open. When Gurudev was receiving massage, the entire time, Gurudev would be chanting ashtakams under his breath. Guru Ashtakam, Sadgoswami Ashtakam, Sachitanya Ashtakam, Nityananda Ashtakam, Krishna Chandra Ashtakam, Radhika Ashtakam, one after another, Lalita Ashtakam, Govardhana Ashtakam, one after another, Namami Nandanandam, Radha Kripkataksha Stavaraja, for the entire hour, like this, just chanting one Ashtakam after the other. And you could hear him under his breath sometimes. He was absorbed, completely absorbed. But when these hands, cold hands, touched his feet, he opened his eyes and he said, "What are you doing here?" And Govinda Bhagat Prabhu said, "Oh, I came to massage you." And Gurudev said, "But there are so many much more important services you can be doing." And at that moment, well, until that moment, Lalit Mohan and I were feeling very proud. We had this wonderful seva of massaging Gurudev. And Gurudev said, there are so many more important services you can be doing. He said, you can preach. You can be preaching. And then he kind of glanced at us and he said, they need this. At that moment, I realized I don't have the qualification to preach. At that time. And I still don't, but anyhow, Gurudev ordered me. But he actually said, they need this. You can be doing so many more important services. So just washing the clothes or just massaging or doing any of these things, this is not necessarily vishramba. Okay, it is service with intimacy, but I mean manobhishta seva. Means fulfilling the inner heart's desire of Gurudev. It can be part of it. I'm not saying that it's not, and it's so valuable. But if one is doing that activity which is most pleasing to the heart of Gurudev, then this can be considered real seva. Right? Gurudev told someone who was touching his feet every time on parikrama, every moment. He said, once a day is enough, but you should try to touch my heart. Right? Once a day touching the feet. You don't need to touch the feet 100 times. Once a day is enough. You should try to touch my heart. So manobhishta seva, what is the example of that? Rupa Goswami. He was so physically distant from Mahaprabhu, but he's that person because he was in Vrindavan and Mahaprabhu was in Puri. But yet, he was following the order of Mahaprabhu, and he is that person who was glorified as establishing the inner heart's desire, manobhishta, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. So this manobhishta seva is the more deep seva by which Sri Guru will be pleased. And that is something that every disciple should endeavor to try to understand. What will be pleasing? Yes, I can do these things. They're wonderful. But when you see 10 or 15 people all massaging Gurudev at the same time, each one with a different finger, then maybe I can massage his sevak instead, who's there slapping oil onto his own back because he's in such pain. Everyone's forgetting him and going to massage Gurudev, and Gurudev's getting a very imbalanced massage. Let me massage his sevak who's serving him 24 hours a day. Then this massage will be more than massaging Gurudev because this person is serving him at all times of day. And Gurudev will accept that. And sure enough, this person would call me in. At nighttime, you can come and massage Gurudev. And then he would be busy, and I was underneath Gurudev's mosquito net in the bedroom in Kantipunja's house in Fiji with the lights off, just me and Gurudev, gently massaging Gurudev in a way to put him to sleep. Because instead of thinking, let me have this, let me show what I can do, I was trying to go the other way, the other route. And you can see the reciprocation which comes from that. So service to Gurudev is not always direct seva either. Gopi bhattu padakamalayor dasa dasa anudasa. My only identity is that I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the beloved of the gopis. And this mood should also be there in relationship with Gurudev. Yes, we can accept direct, but also there are ways to please him even more. And it's not always by doing something directly. We were there directly counting milliliters of medicines for him in those last 3 months. Well, the 2 months before that. When we first came in October, we were counting milliliters of supplements for Gurudev. And, doing all of these activities. But Gurudev himself was explaining that actually he wanted everyone to be in Brajmandal Parikrama. This was his main priority. But Gurudev's personal sevaks ordered and demanded that we stay in that service. So we were serving in the best capacity we could, but because of this, it is mentioned here by seva. So sevaya, pariprashnena sevaya, it means following the instruction, but it also means serving. Whenever any opportunity comes to personally serve Sri Guru, if we're not doing any other seva, yes, of course, we should jump on that seva. We can be engaged in cooking, or in cleaning, or in massaging, or washing the clothes, cleaning his room, doing so many activities. But we should also focus on and concentrate on the activities which Gurudev has ordered us to do. You should do this activity. This is pleasing to me. He told us once, he said, preaching is your bhajan. Preaching is your number one priority. Because we told him once, Gurudev, and I'll end it here. Gurudev, we always have to travel and be in different locations from you. The devotees can't afford to bring us to the same location at the same time as you. So we always have to be on the opposite side of the world from you, and we rarely receive your darshan. And he said, you should know that following my order to travel and preach, this is directly my darshan. So if we were to give that up and come and be at every festival, but give up the seva which he had ordered us, then that would be displeasing to him. And by doing that seva, he said it is directly my darshan. So there's so much to consider in these circumstances. What is seva? What is sevaya? Is it more service to be physically present with him, or to be following his order, even if I have to be far away? And that one is something that we must always question ourselves. If Gurudev has given me this order, even if I have to suffer in separation, but for his happiness, his pleasure, and his benefit, that's where we apply the verse, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karma Dhyanavrtam, Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. What is for his happiness, his pleasure, his benefit? Gurudev said, first and foremost, apply this shlok wholly and fully, totally at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And with this, I will stop today. Thank you very much. So there's some questions, but it's getting very late, so I will review them, and then tomorrow, if it's not a festival day, then I will speak on these questions and also continue reading. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupan Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. And also please stay. Sudevi has, given fresh shringar to Radha Vinu Bihari, Sachinandan Gaura Hari. So you will see their new outfit close up. So please stay for that darshan. Let's see please forgive me, I spoke for too long. Also, I started late, so I think I'm used to speaking for an hour. I just have to check myself. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananda Gauri Guru Varga ki jai. Pati Pavan Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. So, I don't know how to do this now. I don't want to take them out of the picture, so I'm going to leave them in the picture. Thank you very much for being with us today and for giving me the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, for engaging us in this beautiful Guru Seva. Pardon my shaking. For engaging us in this beautiful Guru Seva. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Oh, maybe about here. There we go.